Hi everyone, a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. All right, everyone, we're just waiting for everybody to join us. We have a raised hand. Let me see what the question is. Wow, a lot of people from all over the United States, Australia, Brazil. Hi, everyone. Wow. Boulder, Colorado, San Francisco, Virginia. Okay, let me see. Portland, Oregon. I feel already connected as I see people joining us. Thank you. Okay. Serena from Mindful Awareness Research Center is helping me here. Hi. Hi, everyone. Yes, that's true. We're already at ease just being with each other. Hi. Beautiful messages. Hi, Russell. Nando, hi, from San Francisco. Oh, Santa Monica. Oh, it's Nando. Hi. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Hi, Emily. Wow. My heart is opening just looking at your messages and seeing your faces. Hey, hi. Wow, so many people from around the world. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Of course. Thank you, Gail. Hi from Marina del Rey. Hi. Okay. We're just going to be patient while everybody joins us. As you can see, we have muted, with your permission, your audio and video, but we will have a chance to open up the chat, and you can always type your questions and we will get into that. But first, let's just get everybody technically in so that we can start in peace and with ease. Wow. Hi. From all over California, United States, and the world. That is so heartwarming to see your names and the places you're coming from. All right. Serena, should I start? Have you got everybody in?
It looks like everybody's in. I'm just going to be stopping everyone's video. So yeah, enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're going to start with a practice first until everybody settles in. And then I'm going to give you an overview of how we're going to be conducting today's session, and we go from there. So wherever you are, let's get comfortable. If you're standing or sitting, please feel your feet on the floor, and if it feels comfortable, you may close your eyes. I'm inviting everybody to just bring to their awareness the fact that we are connecting with each other energetically. Just gently inviting your attention to your body in general, and particularly to your feet. If your feet are not comfortable, then you may choose your hands. Just noticing your feet on the floor, either standing or sitting, or maybe even lying down. Just noticing your feet. Feeling the sensation of touch if your feet are on the floor. Moving your toes and really inviting your attention into your feet. Relaxing and releasing any tension that might be there in your feet. Noticing a sense of connection. Connection to your own body. Connection to earth and the ground. And connection with each other. Grounding yourself. Arriving in this moment and in this place. And let us take 9 deep, conscious breaths together. Reminding yourself that you have nothing to do and nowhere to go. And these days, literally. And bringing a sense of peace to that. This is a good thing. You can get grounded, present, without a sense of having to rush. And I want to invite you to bring to your awareness the most compassionate person that you know or you know of. It could be someone that you actually know, or it could be someone historical or a famous figure that you have heard that they are very compassionate. And in your heart's eye, it's a new eye we're developing these days. In your heart's eye, see that this compassionate person is sitting right next to you, safely, lovingly, and is holding a space for you, because we may go to challenging places together. And just feel the presence of this person. Noticing how it feels like to have a supportive, compassionate person holding a space for you. Reminding yourself that you're not alone. We're not alone. We may be physically isolated right now, but energetically we are deeply interconnected. Relaxing in this moment and allowing the next 90 minutes or so to be a gift to yourself. Nothing to do and nowhere to go except to be here in this place, in this moment, and on this breath. If you get distracted, remember to take your attention to your feet or your hands. All right, let us take a conscious breath together, a deep and kind breath. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. This is my mobile bell. So welcome everyone. I see that many of you are already familiar friends, but there are also names that I do not recognize. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Mitra Manesh. I'm a mindfulness storyteller and educator. I teach at UCLA's Mindful Awareness Research Center. And I also have a private practice where I help people to love, live, and lead a mindful life. I'm also the founder of a new mindfulness app called Inner Map. So we're here today to connect and to remind ourselves to really benefit from the practice of mindfulness, because mindfulness sounds great, and it's great when we sit down and meditate, like we meditated almost for 15 minutes. But the question is, how do we actually apply it when it comes to times like this when things are challenging? And things are challenging. Things are really challenging and unusual. These are unprecedented times. And today what we're going to do is I'm going to do a bit of a talk or lecture, if you like. And then I'm going to invite you to share with us some of your feelings and questions. And then I'm going to suggest some ways of dealing with what's going on. And we're going to close with a practice. So there's going to be lecture, practice, question and answer, and a lot of input from you. So please find out how you can type in if you have questions or if you have things to share with me, and I'll do my best to read them and incorporate them. So what is mindfulness? And I know mindfulness is defined in many, many different ways, but I have a very particular way of defining it. And the way I define mindfulness is that it is being aware and accepting of this present moment with a sense of curiosity and compassion. Being aware and accepting of the now with a sense of curiosity and compassion. So really, I'm talking about 5 aspects of mindfulness. One is awareness. Second one is acceptance. Then is presence to what's going on in this moment. And of course, curiosity and compassion. I'm going to go through every single one of them. And before I do that, I want to connect with where you are all at. What is going on for you? And to do that, because it's hard, I think there are hundreds of people, if not more, I assume that's the number. And it's hard to really get a sense of all of you, but we can do it in a simplest way possible. So I just invite you to just gently close your eyes and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And there might be a lot of words and statements and stories, and we have every right to have them right now. But I want to invite you to pick the most obvious and the loudest word that comes to you. If you were to really define how you're feeling with just one word, what would that word be? And just see what comes up for you. It could be unsafe, unsettled, excited, uncomfortable. Great. And okay, let me just read some of them. Beautiful. Unsettled, uncertain, curious, neutrality, worried, calm, still, scared, sick, warm, panicked, distracted, sad, overwhelmed, slightly anxious, very accurate, frustrated, angry, at home, threatened. Whoa, threatened, that's true. Off balanced, correct. Tight, tired, anxious, unfocused, lost. Whoa. Confused, absolutely. Naive, woo, vulnerable, instability, riled up, tired, distracted. Yeah. Unease, yes. Angry, I can understand that. I can completely understand that. Afraid, helpless, victim. Ooh. Equanimity, oh, you have it? Great. I'm glad somebody is feeling helpless. Okay, frustrated, isolated, yes. Grateful for health, hopeful, wanting to help but not knowing how. Whoa. Stupid. Oh, I'm sorry, John. Stressed. Excited of new changes. Down. Surreal. Disconnected. Opportunity. Lily's feeling that there's opportunity. Francis, lost. Yes. Yes. Tiffany, challenged, uncomfortable. Resetting. Resetting. That's a good one. Yes. Whew. Yes. Reaped, paused, restricted, frustrated, challenged. The reason I'm reading them, it's because I really want everybody to see how common probably what you are feeling. Lost, a lot of fear, unknown, shifting. Yes, these are all valid. Trapped, trapped. Oh, wow, yes, trapped. So these are all natural, common, healthy feelings that we may have. Unstable, unsettled, awakening, creative. That's true, Marcy, yes. Marcy, profound sense of dread. Whoa, yes, correct. Optimistic, trying to be optimistic. Grief, yes, because we just lost a lot. We lost our normalcy, slowing. So everything that you're writing and more, and things that you probably are not writing and you are feeling, accepting, thanks Russia, yes. These are all welcomed, honored, and valid. Humbled, exactly. Eileen, that's true. Humbled, yes. All those things that we counted on and we thought that we owned and we had a hold of it, whew, all gone. Awareness, exactly. Layla, yes, awareness. So for those of you who do not know about my history, unfortunately, this is not my first time going through such a challenging times. I've already been through it through the war and revolution of the 79 and 80 in Tehran, Iran, where I come from. And literally overnight, everything got turned upside down and there was no sense of normalcy. There was no sense of knowing where we're going and what's happening. And of course, later on, when I walked out of Iran, it was like I had left everything behind, literally, emotionally, and spiritually. There was nothing. I walked out with a very, very small bag. So all those things that we counted on and we called as mine, my home, my family, my community, my friends, my belongings, my car, everything was gone. And I was very young, of course. I was in my very early 20s. I was 20, 21. And that really gave me a different perspective of life. And of course, this is the second time. That one was regional, national, if you like, and very individual of what I was feeling. And then it became more national. And now this is global. This is everywhere. Our individual suffering is different, but I think our global pain is very common. So let's go through all these things. And thank you, you were still writing. I really, really appreciate that. That's true. This is worse. Somebody is saying this is worse than what I was experiencing because there is nowhere to run to. Absolutely, you're right on. There was nowhere. There was somewhere to run to, but there isn't. That's a very good, valid point. That's true. But there's one place, I have to tell you, even when there was a place that I thought there was a place, that place was not an outer place. That place was the inner place. It was here. Everything was here. And yet I was looking for it outside. So there is a place, but not a physical place to run to. That place is a place inside of us. And hence the mindfulness, hence the combination of mindfulness and coronavirus was such a title to give out. I mean, coronavirus and mindfulness, what do they have in common? Well, if there was ever a time for collective need for mindfulness, at least as I understand and define it, awareness, acceptance, presence, curiosity, and compassion, this is the time. So there is one place, and that place is the inner place. So let's go through this definition and see what that even means in, at least in this context. I'm sure many of you are practitioners, and please forgive me if I'm repeating something that you already know, but it's always good to go through basics of mindfulness and review the alphabet so that we can read and write at even Shakespearean level. So awareness, what does that mean? By awareness, I mean when we have a sense of knowing, we're not on autopilot, we're not really going without stopping and saying what's going on. And to some degree, now it's been imposed upon us to do that. Whether or not we cash in this inheritance that has been, or gift that has been given to us, but that's almost given to us free of charge. It's here. We have to become aware if we so choose to. The second word that I used was accepting. Accepting, this is difficult, Mitra. What are you talking about? Accepting of what? I can't accept all this pain, individual and collective pain. Well, by acceptance, I really mean understanding the truth of what's going on. Doesn't mean it's not a legal acceptance that I agree with. It just means that really finding out what it is, that it's the truth of this moment. Acceptance of that, that's the outer acceptance. And also acceptance of what's going on inside of us. All these words that you wrote that, you know, we're feeling from humbled to frightened and isolated and scared. These are all senses and feelings that we are experiencing, and we need to accept them all. And from the point of acceptance, from the point of understanding what the truth is, whether the outer truth of the events that are happening or the inner truth of all those things that I'm feeling and thinking, it is from that point of acceptance that we can move forward to go towards wherever it is that we decide to go. I'm hoping that we will use this opportunity as a point of growth, but we don't have to. I mean, that's a beauty of free will. Maybe we don't want to, but that's an option. If we want to, then we need to know where we are. So it's almost like when you want to set your and I don't know if we said it anymore, but when we use the compass to see where you want to go and what you want to do, the first thing it asks you, where from? So if I wanted to go to San Diego, not that I can these days, but let's say I did, I have to say the first question is from which address. So that which address is the acceptance of where we are. Exactly those words that you wrote, exactly those informations that are coming by the minute. So that's acceptance of where we are at, so that we can learn and find out where we want to go. The third point is presence. Presence, being in this moment and knowing what's going on. So what are our other options? Especially at times like this, the other options are to lament the past and look at all those wonderful things that we had. Do you know how many things that were normal for us and we had taken for granted now feel like a luxury to us? Well, it's easy to go there and say, oh, last week I was doing this, and 2 weeks ago I was doing that, and I was supposed to be doing this and that. So it's easy to go to the past, lamenting, or going to the future, which is probably where we are mostly going, and being really anxious about what's going to be happen. Can we really plan? It seems like we can plan for a very short period of time, especially these days. If we had any illusion of having a control over what's going to happen, I think that illusion has come to a halt, at least for the time being, that we truly realize that there's not much that is in our control. The chocolate around almond has melted. The chocolate was that illusion of control, and it was sweet and delicious. And now we realize, no, we didn't have much control. It was all the illusion of control. But the good news is the almond that is remaining, the actual truth of it, has a lot of protein and a lot of substance. So this present moment is what we have. It's the almond that we have. And really, that's all we can do to be here and see what's going on for us. And that's the whole invitation of mindfulness. The fourth word that I used was curiosity. Curiosity to me is the opposite of judgment, because judgment is a state of mind that says, I know, and it's true, and I'm going to be using that as a standard. So when I judge you, I'm saying you should be this way, or judge myself for that matter. I should be this way, you should be that way. And if you're not, here are my unkind thoughts for you or for myself. Curiosity is when I do not know, and I welcome that not knowing, and I want to know. So I'm asking instead of telling. Instead of wanting you to be a certain way, I ask you, tell me about this way that you are. And this way could be anything. It could be the physical aspect of people. It could be the way they feel and think and believe, which is what thought and solidified thought is. A belief is a thought that we have practiced for many, many, many days and years and decades. And curiosity allows us to really wanting to find out. So curiosity asks and judgment imposes. So this is a great time to be curious. I wonder. Instead of worrying, you can be wondering. I wonder what's going on for me. I wonder how I can be in a different way. I wonder how I can help. Somebody actually had that in their shares, that I want to help, but I don't know how to help. I wonder. And all you need to do is to ask that question, because as my teacher used to say, most of the time answers are there. It is just that we are asking the wrong questions. So why this happened probably is not the most helpful question. How I can move forward, how I can help myself, help others, is a more skillful question to ask. So a way of bringing our curiosity to the things that are happening right now. The last aspect of mindfulness, which to me is one of the most important one, is compassion. Compassion really means staying kind in times of hardship, as things are rough and are difficult. And in mindfulness, when we become aware, when we become present, we realize that things are not pleasant. Especially now, we realize that things are not pleasant. So we need to have a sense of compassion for ourselves and for others in order to move forward. To me, mindfulness without compassion really is not complete. Without compassion, because the immediate thing is that I become aware, at the very least, of my own suffering, and in a more expansive way of the suffering of the world. So it's so important that we bring in a sense of compassion, meaning kindness at hard times. Compassion is act of being kind. So it's an action. We need to do something when we see the suffering of ourselves and others. What are you talking about, Mitra? There's not much I can do. I can't even leave my home. What can I do? Well, act could be also energetic act. Act is not always physical act. I developed a practice a while ago that I have shared with many of you as my students and clients. And that was that whenever I noticed the suffering of other people, I immediately turned it into an act of wanting something for them that I felt that they were missing. So I was driving the other day in Santa Monica, and I had gone to go shopping. And I suddenly realized that all the homeless people that are on the streets right now are completely unattended to, because the restaurants are closed, and people who were on the streets, and every now and then somebody helped them, talked to them, interacted with them, gave them money, gave them food, they're all gone. And I remember that I had this pain in my back, and I realized that, oh my God, I never thought about them. And it's been days that we've been going through this. So At that moment, I couldn't do anything. So I closed my eyes and I just wished them some ease and comfort. That's all I could do. And then later on, I planned and brought a group together, and we all went and helped them in a physical way. But really at that moment, that's all I could do. And that gave me a sense of ease. And I hope that they received something. I don't know, there's no evidence of it, but that's an act as well. So I suppose that's what prayer comes from. I mean, that's what it is. But we don't need to call it a prayer because there might be some sensitivity to that. We can just call it loving kindness, sending good wishes to people in pain, people who are really suffering because of what's going on. So these are the 5 aspects of mindfulness. Before I move forward and take it to a teaching place of what to do, I would like to see if there are any questions or comments. So please feel free to type in whatever it is that you would like to share with us, and I will do my best to read them. Can I review all 5 again? Of course. So the 5 were awareness, which means knowingness, not autopilot. The second one was acceptance, meaning knowing the truth, acknowledging the truth. Number 3 was presence, being in this moment instead of being in the past or future or in fantasy land. Number 4 was curiosity, which means being open-minded and wanting to know as opposed to imposing. And number 5 was compassion, act of being kind at times of hardship. So, not sure how to dial it down. Are you talking about technically, or are you talking about your emotions? I'm not sure what you mean, Francis. I'm sorry. I love your definition of mindfulness. Adding compassion to it makes so much sense. Yes, Amy, of course, without compassion, really, mindfulness could be used for other things. I mean, I could be a very mindful thief or a criminal. I could be very aware. I could be actually extremely knowing of what's going on and present and curious. But if I don't have compassion, like, mindfulness is not complete. In fact, very, very skilled criminals are mindful. If you see all those movies that they're trying to open the safe, you can't get any more mindful than that. They're so present, they're so in the moment, they're so aware. But where is the compassion? Where is the awareness? These are very important aspects of mindfulness. So let me read. Could we say that being aware is from the mind and compassion comes from the heart? We need both, the whole. Awareness comes from complete, yes, we absolutely. We do need the mind and the heart. The whole idea is the integration of the mind and the heart. But here's the thing about the mind. Mind doesn't need much of invitation. Mind is the uninvited guest that can just open the door and come in. Or sometimes invited guest. But it's the heart that needs the invitation. It's the compassion, it's the kindness, it's the love, it's that integration that we're looking for. But of course, we need the integration of both. I am a fan of integration, but you will hear a lot of practices that will allow us to bring in, open up the heart and bringing the compassion, because we need to do that. That's a very intentional act that needs to be looked at. Allow me to read some more. Amen. Yes. Why is compassion so hard to practice? Well, compassion is hard to practice because we have been conditioned to get rough when things goes rough. So rough it up, keep on going, you know, all these things that they have taught us. And we have seen so-called successful people to do that. So we feel that going soft, going to the heart may stop us from achieving. And I always say what got us here won't get us there. Meaning, if whatever it is that we have, and you may have what you want, but really what we want, whatever we're seeking, we want what we want. We do what we do because we want to feel a certain way. I want this car because I think if I drive in it, I will feel like this. I want this flowers because I feel like when I see it, I feel happy. So what got us here is our doing, and what will get us there, which is happiness, or joyfulness, or equanimity, or a sense of being that is comfortable, is what really needs to happen through our heart and our compassion. Okay. I think sometimes it feels like some individuals practice selective mindfulness. Yes, they may, but that's their journey and that's their practice. The question is, what are we doing for ourselves? Because I don't know why people practice. I don't know how people practice, to be honest with you. It's a very private thing. The question is, how am I practicing, and what is my purpose of practicing? So how can we be mindful at all times? Is that really possible? Okay, these are perfectionist statements that I like to not let in, at least in my practice. Can I be mindful all the time? Probably not, because I'm a human being, and as human being, I am not complete. I don't feel like I'm a complete human being. I feel if I was complete, I would be up there somewhere with maybe angels and beings that are complete. So no, but the moment of unmindfulness, the moment that I feel that I'm unmindful, that's a beautiful moment of becoming mindful. That's a perfect opportunity. So when I am mindful, that's great. When I'm not mindful, but I know I'm not mindful, that's a beautiful U-turning point that I can just say, ooh, 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 I know what's going on. And that's why we practice, so that we can notice when we're not mindful. So yeah, that's the beauty of the whole practice. Let me go for the next question. We know mindfulness because we know its opposite. Thank you, Julie. Exactly, exactly. We know mindfulness because we know the opposite. In fact, we know anything because of the opposite of it. I know I'm a woman because there are men and other genders here, right? I know that it's a day because it was dark and it was a night. We live in a realm of duality, and that's how we know whatever we know. So yes, thank you for that reminder, Julie. That's a great reminder. Okay, so now let us talk about the topic of this session was how we can use this opportunity to turn our normals into different kind of normals, and maybe turn them into a way that allows us to survive, and maybe I dared to use the word thrive. Okay, let's talk about that. First of all, did I cause any upset when I called about thriving in times like this? No, thank you. Okay, no. Wow, okay, got it. I got a lot of no's, thank you. Because I thought it might not be a good idea to even talk about thrival. I think it's necessary. Thank you. Yes, it is necessary. But thank you for acknowledging. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, blessings and lessons to be learned. Absolutely. But let me go into normal. I teach on normal, and I separate normal from healthy, because most people ask me, or I ask myself, is this normal? Normal is what most of us, or ask me as an individual, do. So when I say smoke all the time, to me, smoking is normal. In fact, if you object to it, I will be upset. I will say, no, that's fine, leave me alone, it's fine. We use the word normal and healthy interchangeably at times. When we ask, is this normal? When we question it, we really are asking, is this healthy? So to begin with, let us separate normal from healthy, because that's very healthy to do that. That my normals may not be healthy. They feel very familiar to me. Those are my autopilot things that I do, and I'm comfortable with them. But the question is that normal healthy? And this is a very opportune moment to examine whether my individual normals are healthy and whether our collective normals are healthy. Let me elaborate on that and explain, unfold what I mean by that. When we do something day in and day out, it feels familiar to me. And familiar feels right. In fact, that's why we object to change, because we are undoing the familiar, and that feels uncomfortable. But this is almost, can I call it a blessing? Okay, I'll call it a blessing. It's a blessing that I have to. I'm sitting at home right now, having to almost, examining these norms. I did this, is that right? I ate that, is that right? It's really interesting what's going on for us. Let me see. Okay, let me just read. There are a lot of questions that are coming. Let me just see. It's not time. Yes, you're not convinced that normal is definable. Well, it is definable, but at a very, very individual level, and sometimes at the collective level, and normals are changing. Yes, you can define them. My normal is things that I do normally every day. That's my normal. Can we define them? No, we can only look at them and evaluate them at individual and collective level. What is going on, what feels okay to me, and what feels normal to me, normal, meaning it is something that feels okay to me. And this is the time that we want to really use the 5 elements of mindfulness and bring them into our practice and see whether or not our normals are healthy. This is the opportunity to do that. Whether we want to do it or not, that's another question, but this is something that we can do. So how do we do that? How do I examine my normals? First of all, understanding that I do have a choice, that there are different ways of doing things than we were doing. And I think this couple of days, and for some who are calling me from Europe and maybe Australia, I think I saw somebody from Japan, maybe for weeks, we have seen that our normals can actually change. And some of them, it's good when we change them. They feel good when we change them. I personally started changing some of my normals, not all of them, some of my normals. In fact, you want to keep some normals, there's some healthy normals, so there is a sense of stability. And I looked at, for instance, what I was eating, how I was eating, and it was very interesting what came up. And I realized I really do not need to eat as much as I was eating. So I was confusing hunger, which was very habitual for me, with a sense of weakness and needing of my body. And now through the practice, in just a few days, I am separating these two. I'm saying I'm just hungry. And then I say, I'm needing food. I'm separating these two where they were really one for me. I was hungry, I would eat. And it's been very helpful for me to actually really go into that surfing, that desire to eat. That's a beautiful practice that we work with people who have some kind of addiction. It's called urge surfing, which is a beautiful mindfulness practice that we think that's the only way to satisfy an urge. And when we really practice, we realize just having the urge is actually feels good. We feel alive that I have that urge to eat. It feels right, but I can actually delay satisfying it, or maybe completely not satisfy it if it's not necessary. So that's one example, and I'm sure there are many, many other norms that we can look at. You can practice examining your normal way of speaking to your loved ones. especially now if you're in one place together for a long time. How am I speaking? Is this norm that I have with my loved ones, is that healthy? Is that the best way that I can speak with them? Is that something that I want to continue doing? And my invitation to you in the practice of this is to really bring in any of these 5 elements that are easier for you to connect to. Because to be honest with you, these 5 elements of acceptance and awareness and presence and curiosity and compassion, they're overwhelming. If I could do all of them, you know, I'd probably wrap up and leave this this life very enlightened. But it's a practice. It's a practice. In this moment, I'm very present right now. But was I present an hour ago? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's why we call it a practice, because it's not something that we arrive at and then it's done. It's a practice. So pick any of these 5 that go home for you. Maybe presence is your thing. Maybe compassion, because a lot of people reacted to it and commented on it. Maybe compassion is the thing. Pick one of them and maybe just practice that. I have a beautiful platform called Community, where I connect with my community members through text. And today I suggested to develop a to-be list for them. And every day I will send a to-be suggestion and invitation, because we're very good at to-do lists. And I thought maybe in these interesting times, we can try the to-be list. So that to-be list is a practice of how am I being whole day, being aware of that. So I'm going to pause, take a deep breath. And let me see if I can attend to some comments. What is the difference between normal and habit? That's a good question. Okay. Normal and habit can be the same. Normal is something we do that we feel it's okay. When we have done it for a long time and we cannot do without, it becomes a habit. So habit is a more solidified aspect of what we call normal. And that's my definition and the differentiation between the two of them. Okay, drive to mean, okay, let me see. Okay, great. Okay, Tanya is asking if I could talk about a little bit about urge surfing. All right, so when we have an urge, and whatever the urge is, say I want to do something, urge to answer, for instance, that's an urge that we just think that we have to immediately answer when we hear something, especially if it's something that we don't agree with. That's an urge that I just can't wait. You've seen kids, they say, oh, they want to talk. In a way, adults do the same thing. I just can't wait. In fact, I switch off from listening and I'm preparing and I'm just waiting to see when I can come in. The urge surfing experience is to really go in. So not completely, especially if it's listening, not 100%, but maybe going in about 30% in and see, that's interesting. I can see my impatience. I can see that I can't wait. I can see that my body is shaking. I can see that my hands are shaking. I can see that my heart is going faster. All right, let me see. Let me see if I could just stay with this urge. The urge to speak, the urge to eat, the urge to do nonstop, the urge to move, whatever it is that it's the urge. And the difference between urge and motivation is that urge feels rattled. It feels uncomfortable. But when you have an intention or passion to do something, it feels right, it feels good, even though you're going fast, even though you're doing things that you're doing, it doesn't feel strained, it doesn't feel like work and heavy on you. It feels like it's adding to you. So when you stay with the urge, meaning the attention and the action Because there are two things. One is the attention that I feel like, ooh, I can't wait. And two is the action that I just want to pick it up. I want to say it. I want to do it. Both of these, the attention that goes to them can go to really examination. So I'm examining and saying, oh, that's interesting. Ooh, there's this strong urge. I'm surfing it and surfing. So it goes up and down. It goes up and down. It goes up and down. Ooh. I don't need to satisfy the urge right away. I can just stay with the urge itself and maybe satisfy or not it later. But for the time being, in this moment, I'm just going to stay with the urge and really understand the energy of it and the hold that it has on me. And what if I was free of this urge? What would I be doing? If this urge was not there, would I still be saying? Would I be eating? Would I be doing? So you bring a different question. The question turns from how fast can I have it, say it, do it, to can I stay with it? And what information maybe even it has for me? Because every urge, every uncomfortable experience has a lot of information for us. So you change the question and invite your attention to a complete different aspect of your urge. Instead of satisfying it, you bring into exploring it. So that's a bit of explanation about that. Let me just read. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let me see. Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you very much for your comments. All right, so let me go into aspect of how we change our normals into healthy. So there are 3 questions that are very, very helpful in my coaching practice. And the questions are, what am I going to be stopping? What am I going to be starting? And what am I going to be continuing? That's a beautiful, simple tool to really examine our norms. So whatever, you pick one, and truthfully speaking, it really doesn't matter which one you pick, because it is the practice, it is the rattling of our autopilot that is important. Start anywhere that feels right for you. Examine any norm that feels more comfortable for you to visit. I always say go for the lowest hanging fruit. Don't reach for the one that are difficult. Just go for this one that is hanging in here. Maybe communication. I don't know if you're with loved ones, if you're alone, I don't know. Or maybe consumption. That's a very good one these days. The way we consume, the way we really interact with things and how we want them, how we possess them, how we feel comfortable having them, just consumption in general. And these are very gentle. Please understand, these are very gentle, very compassionate kind of examination. This is not to take a stick and go after yourself. These are not good times, and those are not the right practice to do that. This is only a time to very gently evaluate, examine, lovingly. Remember that compassionate person that I asked you to call in and ask them to sit with you? Allow that person to assist you and help you and support you for you to examine these normals. So anywhere that you want, and any of those attributes of mindfulness that you want to pick. So pick compassion, the best one for examination, by the way. Pick compassion and start examining one of the norms that you feel it's good to examine. What can I be stopping? And all of these are gentle. It's not stop, it's stopping, starting, continuing. It's very gentle. We need to be extra gentle with ourselves and others these days. there's been enough harshness, and I think it's time for us to be very gentle with ourselves and our loved ones and the world around us, and maybe even world beyond us, but we're not going to go there. Allow me to read some of the comments so I can answer some of the questions. Meta, thank you. Thank you. What am I going to be stopping? What am I going to stop? Yes, what am I going to be continuing? Exactly. Those are exact 3 questions that I would like to introduce to you. What would you do if you stopped watching the news? What would you start? What would you do continue? Okay, so somebody is suggesting, what would you do if you stopped watching the news? First of all, because I'm always opponent of not watching too much news. I want to say that it's important these days that we stay current, maybe not through bad news, but through accurate news, and find ways of staying current, because these are special times. So having said that, I want to say that that's a great question, and thank you for suggesting it. If I wasn't watching the news, what are the alternative things that I can start doing? If I stop that, what can I be starting? And that's a great question. I mean, we started reading, that unfamiliar old-fashioned thing. We started doing that. We started talking. We started connecting. These are options that we have. And it was not that available to us before. And it is more available to us. And it's one of the questions that we can ask ourselves. What are the things that we can start doing while we're stopping the norms that might not be helping us? Okay, another question. I prefer reading news rather than watching it. This gives me control over the triggers. Eric, that's a very good point. Yes, because then you can stop it anytime you want to. And I agree with you. That's a very, very good point. It's not talking at you, you are reading it. And it's a different kind of interaction and PowerPoint. I completely agree with you. I watch old Johnny Carson, not the news, Francis. That's a great alternative to doing it, yes. And there are so many other things we can do. We could be writing, we could be creating. It's interesting, I hadn't written any poetry, not that I am a poet, but every now and then I write some lines. And I started just writing. It just came because I think this collective pause, this is what it is. It's a collective pause that we are experiencing. And this collective pause can be filled with so many things. We can do more things actually than before, but we can also allow it to be a pause so some things from inspired point of view comes out. So we were imposing our doing from outside in, and now there's a chance to really allowing the inspiration, which being in spirit is, when you are in spirit, meaning when energy tells body what to do, as opposed to the other way around, when physicality tells the spirit what to do. So these are great opportunities. All right, I have started breathing deeply. Okay, that's a very good practice. And that's something that we can do. There are a lot of practices. I started doing 9 breath in, 9 breath out counting, and that's been very helpful. I do the 3 place breathing. So nostrils, chest, belly, hold 3, release 3, wait 3, and do it again. So very helpful. And it's good for the nervous system also. All right, I'm very aware of the time. It's already 6:06. Okay, if you could please make your questions and comments very short, because they're moving really fast and I can't read them. So if you make them one-liner, it would be very helpful for me. And oh, great. Okay, Gail, I've experienced a brainstorm idea and yes. Lot of ideas, a lot of creativities. Okay, this is a great point. Let me share with you. When I ask my students and clients who come up with like amazing creative ideas. When did you come up with this idea? You know, I normally hear under the shower, walking the dog, by the beach, playing with the baby, all these moments that really invite us to be in the present moment. Isn't that interesting? Nobody tells me when I had this very well paid consultant working with me, I came up with this. It is all at times, and the most common one, by the way, is under the shower. And let's unfold that. What is going on under the shower? Under the shower, warmth of water. I'm assuming you're showering alone. Under the shower, the water is warm, pouring on your body. Warmth comes in. Your attention is on your body. It's exactly what we do when we meditate. We take our attention to the sensations of the body. So far, thank God, we don't have anything, these telephones that ring and are waterproof in there. So there's no distraction. And we're as present as we could be. So those are the moments, creative moments. And this is a collective shower. These are collective shower times that we can actually really use as a pause to be and to connect to our creativity. I agree with you. Okay, I'm going for one-liners only because those are easy to read. How do you deal with not knowing when this will end? Great question. How do we deal with that? We never knew what was going on. We were under impression and illusion that we knew what was going on. Control, I suggest that you listen to my Lights On podcast on the topic of control. Control was never a truth, because let's see what it is. Let's see, I'm trying to control what will happen half an hour from now. At best, I will plan it and design it and create it based on the information that I have right now, right? But I don't know what's going to happen in so many minutes from now. So control was an illusion. That is actually for things that I have a say in, let alone other things, as if like I can say to other people what to do and how to lead their life. These illusions of control that we had, these were part of our suffering. This is one of the reasons that we were suffering, was the illusion of control, and hence the anxiousness that comes with the illusion of control. This is a great time to acknowledge acceptance that I don't know what's happening and I'm still okay. Something that came up and I added, I think it was in social media that the team put it in, that all the things that you're saying, things are difficult, things are out of my control, and they've always been, by the way. These are all statements that we say, and none of them have a period at the end of them. They all need a comma. These are challenging times, comma, I can handle it. I don't know how, but I know I can handle it. I remember when I was raising my 2 children alone as a single mother, there were a lot of times that I had no idea what was going on. So I would tell my kids, don't worry, we'll find a way. And sometimes my children will take me on and say, Mom, what way? What are we gonna do? I said, oh no, I didn't say I know what to do. I said, we'll find a way. It's that hope of knowing that I have the power to do it. But where is that power? That's the question. You may say, I don't have that power. Outwardly, we don't. But inwardly, when we connect with a power beyond our power, the power of collective consciousness, the power of this interconnectedness, then that's a completely different power. We need to go deep. We need to go allow these suffering to be here, all these sounds and noises to be here, and yet dare to go deeper. I always use the analogy of scuba diving. When you first go under the water, there's so much noise. There's a turbulence of outer noises and the turbulence of in the water. But then when you dare to go deeper, there's a sense of quietness, and then you open your eyes and you can see the amazing things that you've never seen before. We need to dare to go deeper. Our reactive autopilot norm or habit might be to reject what's going on and to deny or to dramatize. And both of them are a sense of lack of acceptance. When I'm dramatizing, I'm going with the story. When I'm denying, I'm trying not to see the story. When I actually feel a sense of balance and see where I am, then a different kind of power becomes accessible and available to me. So in these surviving modes that we are in, and we are, many of us are in that survival and surviving mode. Is there another option is the question. Is there a different way of surviving? What are you suggesting, Mitra? I have to survive. We all need to survive. I understand that. But there's two places from which we can survive. One is the survival mode, which is the immediate fear. Oh, I have to do something. And that's great. And it has its own place. But then there is a platform of awareness. There's a platform of presence. Any of those mindfulness attributes that you pick. There is that place from which we can survive. So the survival decision or surviving decisions that I make from a place of awareness and presence and compassion and curiosity and acceptance are very different than the decisions that I may make from a place of fearful surviving. Fearful survival is the place we go to in order to realize that there is a problem and there is a danger without which we will not survive. But if we stay there too long, then we may be really suffering more than needed. So my suggestion to you is to hold on to any of these attributes that are available to you, and from that platform, from that place, then look at what actions, what feelings, what beings you need to attend to in order to survive. Okay, I'm going to attend to some questions and then we're going to finish with a practice. Please go for one-line questions. Great. Why put a positive spin on it and call it pause, collective pause, when we are in pain? Let me separate pain from suffering so that we understand why we do not need to suffer as much and why we have an option. Pain is what's happening. That is not something that we can change, sugarcoat, or discount. There is no doubt what is happening in the world is pain, and it's collective pain. There is no argument there. The question is, what is my relationship to this pain? One of the options is to see it as a collective pause. Am I suggesting everybody should do that? Absolutely not. Some people need to feel their pain longer. Some people need to feel their pain less in order to really connect to the choices that they have. But what is important to remind ourselves of and be aware of is to know that we have choices. Pain is a pain. Suffering, people losing their livelihood, people losing their lives, people being without money, people being without support, people being sick, in pain. That is a pain that is not arguable. It's not something we can negotiate. Of course, that's a pain, and that's where the compassion comes in. But how we interact with pain is completely in our hands. So pain is fact of what's happening. Compassion is our relationship with the pain. That's why when we have a common pain, we do not have usually a common suffering. Even at private level, at family level, we lose a loved one And we see that every individual in the family really digests, interacts with the pain in a different way. So it is not putting a positive spin on it, is giving options and reminding the practitioners that there are other options. The pain is pain. The question is how we are suffering and how much we're suffering. And do we have a say in that by using our practices, by meditating, by going in, by connecting, by being aware and staying aware. So that's what I meant. I was not intending to minimize the pain. Believe me, I'm very aware of the pain that is being experienced throughout the world right in this moment. One more question, and then maybe we will go into. Thank you, exactly. I will find a way forward. I don't know how, but I know I will. Okay, let me see. Yes, there are a lot of resources. Thank you for reminding me. That's right. UCLA Mindfulness app that is free of charge, available to you, is one of the resources. By the way, Inner Map, which is the app that I have created, we are giving out free 3 months membership, their subscription, and there is no information about your financial credit card or anything like that. It's not auto-renewable. So to access the Mindful Awareness Center, please visit us at marc.ucla.edu, marc, M-A-R-C, .ucla.edu. And to access my app, go to Mitra Manesh, my full name, .com, MITRAMANESH.com, and click on COVID-19 gift and see all the resources. We're going to be adding a lot of other free resources for people. Okay. Of course, thank you. Of course, thank you. Of course, Mark Lee, I understand the pain that we are experiencing. There is no other way but to honor this pain. I don't think anybody has the heart to not honor this pain. The pain is so strong that even in my sleep, I'm experiencing it and feeling it. But there's also the remedy. There's also something I can feel and do and practice to remedy that pain. We cannot bring harshness to harshness. This is harsh enough. This is the time to connect to the compassion that we have for ourselves and for each other. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for all of your positive input and comments. I'm glad that it's helpful. And yes, can you do more workshops on Zoom? I will be in contact with you. Please make sure that you are on the list so that you can, or at least, yes, Emily, I will so much appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you to the community. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And you are a gift too. You are a gift. Oh my God. Oh, my heart is full of gratitude. This is an action that I could take. This is what I could do and I continue to do. I want you to understand we are all here for you as much as we can. How, we don't know, because everything is changing. But I can promise you that if there was anything that moves me these days, is doing these things for free, especially to make it available to everybody. So please work with us, please stay with us, please check our websites and make sure that you are connected with us so that we can let you know what we're going to do. So allow me to just, let me see. There are a lot of comments. I want to go into meditation before, thank you. Privately, I love you too. Salam, yes, thank you. Thank you. I am real because there's no other way to be. Thank you. Yes, we all feel a sense of community. The sense of community is here. We are here together, together, together. Please know you are not alone. This is the collective pain, and we are here together. Maybe physically we're not together, but energetically and through practices like this, we're together. Happy Nowruz. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. It's Persian New Year. It started on Thursday. It was the first day of spring. I completely forgot. And I didn't forget on that day, I just forgot. And Persians throughout the world celebrate the first day of spring and bring a sense of renewal and connection to everything. So allow me to invite you to stop your comments. Let us take a deep and conscious breath together. If it feels right for you, please close your eyes. I want to invite you to really feel, see what you can feel. Can you feel the connectedness of this community? All these beautiful words, questions, concerns, objections, all welcomed, all of them. Can you feel how connected we are? Connecting to your body, going in so you can go out. Connecting to the sensations of your body, noticing all the sensations, the tingling, the heartbeat, the softness, the tension. This time I want to invite you to bring to your awareness a mindful person that you know or you know of. And imagine and see with your heart's eye that this being is sitting next to you, holding the space, holding your hands, assisting you, helping you, loving you, wanting to help you. How can I help? How can you help you? And very gently, ever so gently and kindly, ask yourself, in this moment, what is one thing that I would like to stop? What is one thing that is not serving me, helping me? And allow the answer to just come to you. Let us pause. What is one thing that I would like to stop that is no longer serving me? A gentle, loving question. What is one thing that I would like to start that I know or I guess it will be serving me in these unusual and unfamiliar times? Something I can do physically, mentally or emotionally, or a way of being that might help me, being kind, being present. Just noticing your body, noticing the presence of this mindful person, being next to you. And the last question is, what is helpful that is really supporting me that I would like to continue doing? Very gently examining that. Mm. My promise to you is that I will continue to tap into my resources and creativity to come up with ways that I can stay connected and serve you as best as I can. There were so many things that I wanted to share with you, but I wanted to start with the basics and then move from there. Let us finish by putting our hands on our hearts and asking ourselves, what is it in this moment, one thing that is right in my life and I'm grateful for? You can type them in after we're done, but I want you to first feel them in your heart. Feel them in your heart. Feeling your heart open. I'm grateful for you, all of you, for your presence, for your participation, for your questions, for coming to mindfulness instead of other options that you have. I'm grateful for your journeys. Okay. Okay, 1 minute to read some of it. Thank you. Thank you. How? Okay. For showing up for each other. Thank you for Zoom. Shukran. Laughter. That's a great one. Okay. My home. Very good. My home. My health. A sense of community. Grateful for family and friends and having food and shelter. Yeah. Thank you for giving us this gift. Thank you for your gift of presence. And for dogs, okay, my husband, my cat, fantastic. My daughter and my husband, ex-husband, very good. My relationship with God, yes, communities, sanghas. I'm grateful for my friends, running water, people on the front line, wine, friends. Thank you. And there are so much more. The list of what we can be thankful for is unlimited, just as the list for what we can complain about. So on that point, and with a deep gratitude, I love you and leave you. I'm Mitra Manesh. Until the next time, bye.